My guest now says the Trump-Putin summit was a good first step toward normalizing diplomatic relations with Russia. Joining us tonight, Congressman Andy Biggs. He's a member of the House Judiciary Committee, the Freedom Caucus. Congressman, great to have you with us. The president was holding a few cards, wasn't he, in the face of the tsunami of hysteria and hyperbole from the left-wing nut jobs who have jobs in the left-wing media.
Well, Lou, you know what was interesting about that? There's not too many times that the president can't get a word in edgewise, but they had went so hysterical and over the top here over the press conference that it was virtually impossible for him to come out and report, this is what we talked about, this is the direction we're going. And I think what he did today is he's letting everyone know, look, we had substantive discussions, and I think you and I knew that, and I think most of America knew that. I think it's just within this D.C. bubble and within this left-wing media bubble that they couldn't understand what was going on here.
Yeah, I think it's more than a bubble, Congressman. I understand what you're saying. I mean, these are arrayed forces that have a target, and 1600 Pennsylvania and its occupant, without doubt, is that target. This president is being treated as I have never seen any president treated. When I think back to Nixon, to Carter, the disrespect, the disregard for those two men by the national media didn't approach a day's vitriol spewed from the left-wing national media toward President Trump.
Yeah, it's outrageous, and I'm old enough to remember the Nixon time all the way through. And remember, even Gerald Ford got it. But now with the social media and the media that's out there and the way things have turned to the left so hard left, and I look at the Democrat who just won on Long Island, and I say to myself, things have gone so far to the left, and they're so vitriolic, and it's 24/7. There's not a news cycle anymore where you're going to get on the 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock news and maybe again at 10. This is 24/7. And it's a lot of hatred that's being spewed out there, and that's not good for the country, certainly not good for this president who's trying to get some things done that I think will really drive this country in the right direction, that's for sure.
This is a president who should be held in respect, and certainly given our gratitude, all Americans, because all Americans are the beneficiary of what is not even 2 years in office yet. Foreign policy, domestic policy successes, great leadership, a positive atmosphere. Compare a moment under President Trump to that of a moment or two under President Obama. It's incalculable, the improvement and the brighter future this country obviously now has.
Yeah, I can't go anywhere within my district and in other people's districts, and you find out the tax cuts worked, the regulatory reform has worked, the economy is going forward. We have people that are getting jobs. The unemployment rate is low. The job participation rate is extremely high. People are optimistic. Business owners are optimistic. Businesses want to expand. This is a great time. The trajectory going forward is all positive. And yet think about what the president's had to deal with in the obstacle, say, the Mueller investigation, and that's produced nothing really. And what you get, he's overcome that. He's overcome that. Well, the recalcitrance from the elites in Congress, it's been remarkable.
Yeah, and frankly, we can't even get to your conference to focus on much that is significant because you have a lame duck speaker who you all are tolerating and putting up with. And I can, by the way, who was amongst the first to jump on jump into the chorus of the negative nonsense that was spewing against this president from about his quote-unquote conduct in Helsinki. These are morons. I mean, it's a bipartisan deal. The extremists of both parties and Paul Ryan, the first, almost the first to jump on the president and criticize him. And, and today, moving forward, we've got a $5 billion down payment, it looks like, moving through the system for the president's barriers, but not his wall. Now, that's better than the $1.6 billion under the omnibus spending bill that actually reduced the number of ICE agents. But I got to tell you, Paul Ryan and the leadership folks on his team are tearing your conference to pieces, and may be absolutely responsible for what will be a devastating result for Republicans in the House.
Yeah, I know. Really, let's think about it. You know, the ICE resolution that we did today.
Yeah.
The Democrats introduced. That was a good thing, but the Democrats introduced a bill to abolish ICE. I think a strategic, a good thing would have been to say, okay, you Democrats, do you really want to abolish ICE? 80% of the country doesn't want to do it. Let's put that on the floor and make the Democrats vote for what they introduced. That would have been a good strategic move, I think. The second thing is the $5 billion that's
the gutless Dems, though, Congressman, wouldn't even vote no on your resolution. They were voting present. They would
absolutely.
I mean, you're talking about gutless wonders. They think they're going to take this country over and drive us into a communist state or socialist state or whatever you want to call it, a Marxist state. Good grief. They don't understand this country very well at all.
No, they don't. And, you know, so when we talk about the $5 billion, which I view as a slow walk to the wall that the president promised, you know, Lou, we should have funded that whole wall. First thing we should do is should have done a complete repeal of Obamacare. Second thing is fund the building of the wall. And the third thing you do is the tax reform. And guess what? Then this country would already be 2 years in the tax breaks, the Obama repeal. Well, that would have been fantastic.
The great thing is we've got a country that is prospering immensely because of this president's commitment to deregulation, a commitment to a favorable atmosphere for business, stability in this economy, even as the morons in the business press, for crying out loud, are trying to talk about trade tensions when the Fed chair himself acknowledges that even if this were to escalate, it would be short-term pain, and the result of the president's policies in balancing trade would be immensely positive and productive for the global economy. This is what we're dealing with. We are dealing with a press that is so hidebound ideologically that they've forgotten whatever little they may have known about economics at one point in their careers and lives, and have just simply thrown, cast their own careers aside to join a march of lemmings toward never Trump land.
Yeah, this never Trump movement, I thought was largely quelled, and that shows how naive I was. This one press conference that didn't meet their expectations. And all of a sudden, they're back out.
First of all, most of them don't know anything about foreign policy. They don't know much about the economy, and they sure don't know much about journalistic integrity. Congressman, great to have you with us as always. Appreciate it.